Hi, in this video I'm going to show you how to make double-sided fabric napkins. Really professional with a nice little top stitch around the edge. When you fold them they look great because you've got the same fabric on either side. Or how about using two different fabrics for a more exciting effect? Perhaps it matches your decor or perhaps it matches your plates. And here's another example of two very different fabrics, a dark one and a light one. So I'm Christine of christinescrafts.com and this channel is dedicated to crafting on a budget. So let's get started making your fabric napkins. First thing you're going to need to do is choose your fabric and then you're going to cut it out the size you want. Now you can make your napkins lots of different sizes, it's entirely up to you. I'm going to make mine 16 inches square. So I'm cutting my fabric out 17 inches square and using a 1/2 inch seam allowance. You can see I'm using a self-healing mat and a rotary cutter to get really good squares. There's nothing wrong with using a ruler and scissors, just take your time to make sure you measure accurately and get good squares so that they line up well and you get the napkins with the professional finish you're hoping for. So as you can see I'm lining up to get my 17 inches the other way, so it's a perfect square. And then you need to repeat so that you've got two of those. So we're going to sew those together to make the double-sided napkins. As you can see, making sure it's lined up properly and get your two squares. And that's it. That's everything you need to cut out. That's all the fabric you need. Two squares. So the next thing you need to do is look at your two squares and make sure you're going to sew them the right way. As you can see, mine has got a pattern, so there is a right and a wrong way up. So just check you get the patterns the right way or the opposite way if you want to be exciting, but just make sure you're getting them how you want them. And then place your two squares together right sides facing. Line them up so that they're exactly matching and then either pin or clip them together. So just work your way around, making sure it still lies nice and flat, and you're going to end up with a nice flat napkin at the end. Once you've got all the way around, you need to think about the fact that when we've sewn it, we need to turn this out. So we need to leave a gap on one side. So you want to mark that in some way. I'm going to use the larger clip so it's obvious which part I'm going to leave open for turning out. You could use your pins in a different direction or mark it with a little fabric marker, but that gap I am not going to sew. So then it's over to your sewing machine, or if you're sewing by hand, just set off sewing by hand. Get to one of your markers that you're not going to sew and set off. Make sure you've got your seam allowance set to the right position and then sew a little way, do a reverse so that your stitches don't come undone, and then set off along that side. You'll see that I've used the middle of one side, it's the best place to turn it through. So keep working your way along till you get right to the corner. When you get to the corner, make sure your needle's properly in through the fabric and then lift your foot and turn through 90 degrees. Put the foot down and set off again. And you're going to do that at each corner as you come to it. And then you're just going to work your way all the way around. Make sure you keep that seam allowance steady. Make sure you turn well at each corner so you get a nice corner on your napkin. Keep going until you get back round to the other marker for the little bit you're keeping open. Just come up to the last corner here and then right round to that other marker, sew up to it and then do a little reverse so that the stitches don't come undone. Check that gap's wide enough. Don't make it so tight you can't turn your napkin through, there's no benefit to that. And then once you're happy and you've done your little reverse, you're going to take it away from the machine and back over to your table. So before you think about turning it out, go to each corner in turn and clip the corner off. This removes some of the bulk to give you a better corner. Be careful to go quite near the stitches, but not so close that you cut the stitches, otherwise you're going to end up with a hole in the corner. So just take care, do all 4. And then it's time to turn it through. So you've got your hole there, just turn it all through. You can see I'm just pushing it all through. Once you've got it all through, it's time to think about the corners, and you're going to want something to poke in there that's not too sharp but will give you a nice corner. I tend to use a chopstick, and you're just going to ease it gently into the corner. Don't be too rough because you could rip your stitches. Sometimes rubbing it between your fingers also helps it to just flatten out and get into that corner. So repeat that for all your corners, and then you're going to be ready to press your napkin. Before you think about top stitching, which is also incidentally going to close that hole that you left, you need to press your napkin. So I'm going to show you why. You're going to work along each edge, and you're going to realize that it doesn't naturally open up to the seam. So you just need to keep going and pull everything back, pull that seam out and press it flat. And work your way around the entire napkin like that, so you get your nice straight square edges like you were expecting. Means you'll end up with a more professional napkin at the end. And then give the whole thing a quick press, and you're ready to sew. Just going to sew a top stitch all the way around. So it's back to the machine, pick part way down one side, put your foot down and set off. We don't need to reverse because we're going to go all the way around and come back to here. It's up to you how close to the edge you do top stitch. Lots of people have different opinions. Some people will do 2 rows of top stitch. I tend to line mine up with the edge of the zipper foot, and it keeps it nice and easy to keep straight. As before, when you get to the corner, needle down, lift the zipper foot, turn it, zipper foot back down, and away you go again. If you want to do 2 rows, that's up to you. You just repeat this process. I'm just doing 1 row of top stitching. It fastens up that hole I left, and it gives a nice professional finish. So when you get back to where you started, make sure you sew over where you started to secure those stitches and do a little reverse. And then that's it, your napkin's finished. You simply press it and then it's ready for you to use. So how about thinking how you're going to present your napkins? What you can do is simply fold them and place them on the table. Or how about a bit of napkin folding? As you can see here, there's one shaped like an arrowhead and one like a rose. And if you look at the videos on the screen now, they will show you how to do both of those, and they're really quick and really simple. So thank you for watching. Please give me a thumbs up below and leave me any comments, and subscribe if you like what you see. Thank you.